right, let's be real. Toxic jobs are taking way too many of us down, okay? They drain your energy, they silence your voice, they steal your joy, they steal your soul, okay? Today, I'm answering your top frequently asked questions, the questions I get asked the most. I'm sharing truth bombs. I am helping you break free, escape, before you make the jump, because the jump can be dangerous if you don't have somebody to help you navigate through those dangerous waters that you're going to jump into. So you might be making the situation worse if you don't have the right information, right? So this is going to be a very special episode because I want you to know that you don't owe loyalty to a system that is sinking. Okay, the ship is going down. And just because the ship is going down, don't mean that you got to go down with it. Okay, corporate America is a broken system and it repeatedly fails us again and again and again and again and again. And if we allow it to, it will keep us brainwashed, broke, and broken. Okay, your peace is non-negotiable. Period, point blank. That is my new philosophy. That is the hill I'm willing to die on. I am totally unsubscribed from hustle culture. And I really want that for you too. And I am so not wearing the S on my chest anymore. And that hustle hard and work hard and excessive like a badge of honor, like many of us were brainwashed to believe is the only way to success. Now, quick mention here, if you did not watch my live stream and the conversation I had with Dr. Kamani Norrington Sands is the founder of Lifting as We Climb. That's the name of her channel. Okay, she also is, she's a clinical psychologist and she is a toxic job survivor, but also a toxic job liberator. Her and Marissa Price are partners in and have co-created the Job Liberation Virtual Summit for Black Women. I happen to be one of the selected speakers for the Job Liberation Summit for Black Women 2025. So even though this conversation is applicable for women of color collectively, this particular conversation pertains to Black women because that was the conversation we had around, my analogy, how I use toxic ships are sinking, toxic jobs are sinking ships. And I broke that all the way down. And we had a very candid and courageous conversation, stimulating conversations that women like you crave. And I wanted to do, a part 2 of this. So this is somewhat of a sequel. And so this video builds upon that conversation, a very powerful, much needed, well-deserved, long overdue conversation. And so my goal here really is to validate the lived experiences of high achieving women who are in toxic jobs. Okay, you're ambitious, you're, overachievers, type A personalities, hard workers, successful in your academics, right? Successful in your careers, perhaps successful in business or other aspects of your life, but you're in a toxic job situation. And I want to help you. I want to provide you with next steps, clear direction. Okay. Like I said, helping you navigate this whole thing. This is a whole debacle, right? I want to also help you refrain from leaving, this is what I want to say. I want to help you to reframe. How do I want to say this? Just leaving as an act of leadership and liberation, meaning when you jump ship, so to speak, like I want you to know it's an act of leadership and it feels liberating. It's so freeing. It's no longer going to be the thing that holds you hostage. You're not stuck. You don't have to wear those golden handcuffs. You hold the key. That's what I'm really trying to say here. That's the bigger message. And so again, this is part 2, the sequel of that live conversation with Dr. Kamani. I am going to send you over there. In fact, I'll leave the link so that you can go right over there when we're done here. Okay, after you finish hearing the sound of my voice, watching this video all the way through, so that, the reason why it's important that I link you back to that video is because that's where the conversation started, right? This is, if you didn't attend the Job Liberation Virtual Summit live, the replay is available. I'll also leave that resource, but it was a lineup of powerhouse women. It felt like a revival. Okay. It felt like church. It felt like a real sisterhood. It felt so liberating. And so that's where the conversation stemmed from when Dr. Kamani and I had this live discussion the other day, as she wanted to bring out, continue that discussion from my presentation. And now this is the part 2, or I guess you can even say part 3 of that. Okay. So I just want to make sure I'm linking you back to where this all began. I also want you to know that you need to stand in your own truth and stand in your own voice and authority and make the decision for what's best for you. You are the CEO of your life. You need to be the one to get back in the driver's seat. And so in this discussion here, it's going to be a Q&A session. It's going to be a rapid fire Q&A. I did not select the questions. A bunch of questions came through. These are questions I get asked all the time, though. I am depending heavily on my team. I asked them to pull the top 10. Okay, so for the sake of time, the top 10 commonly asked questions I get asked all the time, and I'm going to answer those questions for you truthfully, transparently in this video. Okay, and so I know my team, they probably snuck in a couple of extras, and that's okay because I don't mind over delivering, but we're going to try to keep this video short, sweet, and succinct, okay, to get you in and out of here, but hopefully to provide you with the clarification and the hope and the everything you need in order to move forward. All right, so I'm going to be referring back to the questions, and then I'll, get into it here. So the first question is, I want to leave my job, but I don't know where to start. I want to leave my job, but I don't know where to start. This is probably certainly one of the top questions I get asked. So this is a beautiful question. And here's the thing, and you're not alone, by the way. Okay. Do know that so many women in your position feel this way. Now, the first step is always clarity before change. Okay. Clarity before change. You always want to get crystal clear with where it is you are in order to know where you're headed, right? No more than you would just jump in a car or in any sort of mode of transportation and just go without a map, without a plan, without a GPS to guide you. You want to get crystal clear with where it is you want to be. Like, what is the destination you're ultimately trying to reach? So you can map that out, but you first have to assess, right? That's the beginning. So assess what's draining you, assess what is driving you, and assess what you really desire. Because so often we're so quick to just get in the car and start going, right? Start driving or jump in the business, leave the job, jump in the business and start heading nowhere fast. Like, we don't really know what we don't know. So assess what's draining you, assess what's driving you, assess what you really desire, and work your way backwards. I always reverse and engineer anything I do based on what you know after you've answered those questions. Then you'll know exactly how to back into it, okay? And if you don't, that would be a time to get help from someone who knows and can help you to pivot, do a career pivot, okay? Or help you to devise a plan and specifically an exit strategy. That's what I'm looking for, an exit strategy, so that you can mark the date on your calendar and know exactly what action you need to take. So, and then as far as not knowing exactly where to start, a lot of times this question comes from a place of you're comfortable in your corporate career, but when you get into business, you're not quite sure where you should start there. If that's the question, my philosophy is to start where you are, work with what you have, and do what you know, okay? Lowest hanging fruit. You are already equipped with everything you need in order to succeed. God did that. He placed that inside of you. Your creator designed you for something greater. So just know that from there, once you got that, you can create your freedom plan. You can devise an exit strategy. You can mark the date and, reverse engineer everything. And when this plan, by the way, this is important to know, should not just include how you're going to escape the corporate plantation or the sinking ship in this case, right? But it should include your financial plan. It should include your emotional plan, right? Therapy might be a part of that. It should include your spiritual needs as well. Got it? Okay. I actually do help women with this, by the way, inside of the Legacy Leaders Lab. That is my 30-day private premium intensive group coaching program. And we can get on a clarity call and really map out your freedom plan, what that looks like for you, and help you get out of your head and get things written on paper and devise an exit strategy, mark the date, and give you a personalized plan so that you know exactly what you need to do and where you need to go, starting with where it is you want to be. We got to start with the end goal in mind, okay, to help you make a personalized transition plan. All right. You do not have to jump blindly, by the way. I'm going to get into this next question, but I want to say this first. You don't have to jump blindly. I want you to know that you can build a bridge with intention. And I'm going to get into discussing that more a little bit here lately. That'd be a great segue leading into another part of the conversation I want to have a little bit later. But let's go ahead and again, for the sake of time, and just stick to the questions that are asked. So let's get into it. Let's see. All right. Next question is, how do I heal from a toxic workplace when I'm still in it? Okay. How do I heal from a toxic workplace when I'm still in it? Great. That's a powerful question. And a very honest question, by the way. So kudos to whomever put this question in. I do get this question asked, maybe not as often, but definitely it is a question asked. So just so you know, healing can start when you are in the eye of the storm, okay? It does not have to wait for your exit. You don't need to wait for that. It starts with micro boundaries and taking care of your nervous system. It starts with just small, consistent acts of respect for yourself. Self-love starts now, okay? Not later, now. You cannot necessarily always leave immediately unless you are in harm's way. Now, if you are, in a burning building and the ship is already almost all the way in the water, well, it might be a little too late, but we already need to have a plan in place, okay? However, that's when you need to leave immediately. Find the nearest exit, right? The nearest exit route. But it's always really good to have a plan in place so that you don't have to panic. You can pause, you can assess the situation, and you can figure out what you need to do. This next best smart move, right? Not just any move, but I understand that not everybody can just leave immediately right now. And so, but what you can do is stop internalizing all of that garbage, right? And start letting go of what's no longer serving you. That's where you can start. And you can start that today, right now. Make the decision to do it. It's easy as that. I want you to protect your peace through prayer, through breath work, deep breathing exercises, not just shallow breathing like we do all day. That's something we're used to doing, right? Deep breathing. Journal the emotions that are coming up for you. Peel back the layers and get honest with yourself. Set limits, back to those boundaries, and seek not just any old kind of therapy, but trauma-informed therapy, okay? I also want you to give yourself some grace and some space to breathe. And don't blame yourself for where you are, or do, because you know what's good about blaming where you are is you are in control about making the change through the decisions that you make. So sure, blame yourself for where you are, because after all, you are a whole grown adult. You more than likely didn't make the decision you needed to make sooner, but you can make it now, okay? Start emotionally detaching from what you can't control so that your nervous system can really start to heal in real time, okay? All right, next question. How are we doing on time? All right. How do I know if it's time to leave or just a hard season to push through? Ooh, yes, good question. Well, here's my simple test. If it is challenging, you can change it, right? If it is consistently stealing your health, your happiness, and your hope, then it's not just a temporary situation, it's toxic and you need to leave. Okay. Growth can be uncomfortable, but destruction, that's on a whole other level, right? That's not part rather of your divine assignment, right? At all. You can outgrow a season per se, but you should never outstay your peace. And remember what I said earlier, peace is non-negotiable. Say that like a mantra. My peace is non-negotiable. Okay. All right. Somebody keep count for me. Okay. I'm just going to go to the next question. All right. I'm scared to lose my income. What if I can't afford to leave? Ooh, now this should probably be number one. Okay. This is always what I'm dealing with, especially not with just high achieving women, but women who are high income earners, six figures, right? Doctors, lawyers, nurses, therapists, the C-suite exec peeps, like so many people, women I work with in this position. I get it. This is such a real concern and one I faced too in the beginning until I learned how to replace my six-figure income in 3 months. Okay. And I could teach you how to do the same. Now, freedom is not reckless, by the way. Okay. It is restructured. So we want to restructure this. Now, start exploring bridge jobs and portfolio positions. You can make a whole career out of this and you wouldn't even need a job at all. Okay. It's not about just quitting the job. It's about planning. So you can actually design multiple income streams, and you should diversify your income portfolio so that you can have the flexibility and the stability that you're used to with a paycheck, right? Without depending solely on that one income source while you build out your next chapter. So I break this all the way down in a video I did a few weeks back as of this recording. I will link it in the pinned comments and in the description box so you can go watch it. I may even have it come up I'll link it. Just look for it below. Okay. So you can go check it out. I dive deep to help you understand what bridge jobs and portfolio positions are, how to make a whole career out of that, and how that will help you. That's like one of the top things I help my clients do as a part of their exit strategy. So go check that out next so I don't have to get all into the details of that because it's too much to go into. Okay, now I'm going to take a breath here for a moment. And this is a good time to say, listen, if you're getting what I'm giving and you love these gems I'm dropping, go ahead and leave a comment right now so we can get this discussion popping. Let me know what's hitting home with you. Are any of these your questions? Am I getting to some of your most burning questions? If so, let me know so far what's resonating with you, what's pulling on those heartstrings, and where you are in the journey. But I also want you to, if you're getting value from this video and you've perused around my page and you find that my content is helpful here, then and you feel in my vibe and want to be a part of my tribe, then I want you to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a single episode whenever I drop new content and or go live. Whew, that was a lot, right? Okay, now let's get to the next question. All right. What if I love the work I do, but the environment is toxic? Ooh, yes, girl. I know what you mean. I've been there, done that. Loving the mission, but hating the management. Ooh. You done said a whole word there. Okay. Sometimes it's not about changing what you do, but it's more about how you do it. Okay. Your mission deserves a healthier container. So the good news is you can take your passion with you everywhere you go. And your purpose is your purpose. Okay. Nobody can take that away from you. And nobody can take away your skill set, your education, your background, your journey, your story, your skill set, everything that makes you an asset to your company, the reason why they hired you, they can't take that away, girl. They cannot. Okay. So whether it's through entrepreneurship, coaching, consulting, contract work, finding a new organization that's more in alignment with where you are, where you want to be, that has better values, that honors you, right? That doesn't victimize you or violate your rights in any of that, that sees your vision, that is receptive to receiving what you have to say. Or just creating your own lane, whatever it might be. You've got options. And I always say options equal freedom, and freedom leads to your happiness. So you do not have to die on the sinking ship. Let the sink ship go down without you. Okay. Now that's that. Next question is, do you think everyone is meant to be an entrepreneur? Ooh, no. Okay. I do not. Some people need the structure. Some people do better with the stability. Some people don't have the grit. They don't have the discipline. They don't have the determination. They don't have the desire really to be an entrepreneur or a business owner. And there's nothing wrong with that, because that's not for everybody, right? You have to have an entrepreneurial spirit. You have to have the desire, the discipline, and the determination to achieve all that you dream of, desire, and deserve. Not everybody wants to roll up their sleeves and get in the trenches and do the work. And you know what? I'm going to be really honest. You're going to work harder for yourself, especially initially in the first few years of your business, harder than you will ever work for somebody else. And so if that's not what you want, then entrepreneurship, business ownership, building an empire, that wouldn't be for you. Some people just like to go to work, clock in, clock out, do as they're told, have a structured day, know what's on their job description, and climb their way up the ladder. Okay. But so not necessarily everyone needs to be an entrepreneur or a business owner, but everyone, and I do mean everyone, deserves freedom and deserves to feel empowered. That's what I feel. Entrepreneurship is only one path. Okay. It's not the only path. Alignment, though, is really the goal, even if you're going to another job. Now, that is not my ministry to help you go to another job or to find a better job. Okay. I don't believe that the grass is always greener on the other side. I do believe there are good companies out there, though. Okay. Not every company is a sinking ship, but I believe corporate America as a whole is a broken system. Okay. But I digress. I won't get on my soapbox about that. My goal, though, is to help women like you, high achieving women over 40 who want more for themselves, more out of life, right? And especially those who have done all they can do in corporate. They just want more out of life, and they know they're never going to find it in corporate. And they're tired of climbing the ladder and everything that corporate comes with. So I am here to help you design the life you dream of so you can live the life you love, right? That means a life of peace, a life of purpose, a life of prosperity, and you want to reclaim your power back. And so whether it's through business ownership or a passion project or a better aligned career, as I mentioned, your gift doesn't belong to the environment that exploits it. And that's a toxic job. So hopefully that answers your question. All right. Next question. How do I handle guilt for leaving when others depend on me? Yeah. All right. Well, that guilt's real, right? That guilt is really real, especially for women who are carrying the entire weight of, like, they're shouldering the responsibilities of their household, their teams, their communities, all on their back, right? And I mean, here's what I want you to remember. I want you to remember that when you heal, they heal too. Okay? When you heal, they heal too. So you cannot pour from an empty cup. You have to pour from your overflow. That means you've got to fill your cups up first. You understand what I'm saying? You've got to fill your cups up first, or you're operating on fumes, and that's doing everybody, including yourself, a disservice. Right now, the most responsible thing you can do is to model what healthy, holistic success actually looks like. That starts with you. Teach others, how to treat you. Okay? You don't have to abandon people when you choose you. You just teach them how to choose themselves too. All right. So that's my answer to that. Next question is, all right. Ooh, good one. How do you handle imposter syndrome after leaving corporate? That is a great question. Such a great question. I did a whole ebook around imposter syndrome. I have an ebook called it's Mindset Mastery, and is teaching you the 5 pillars that you need to be a successful entrepreneur. And I titled it, excuse me, I've been talking a lot today. Imposter syndrome is a scam. And I talk about in the live stream with Dr. Kamani, I break that down, why imposter syndrome is a scam. So it's not that you don't belong, right? It's that you've been conditioned to believe that you need permission and you're doubting what you already know. So I say start collecting evidence of your excellence. It's already within you, okay? You are not an imposter. You are not an imposter. You're an innovator who is evolving. You feel what I'm saying? So just don't get it twisted, okay? I don't believe in imposter syndrome. Like I said, I have a whole ebook on imposter syndrome, so you're more than welcome to download that, and I will leave the link to that resources as well if you're interested, or you can find it in the description box. Next question is, what's the hardest part of entrepreneurship that people don't talk about? Really good question, because you might as well know the truth to that, right? Why jump from what do they say, from the fire to the flames, or the flame to the fire, from the frying pan to the fire? Girl, I be messing up cliches, but you know what I'm talking about, that part. So, well, honestly, I would say so many things. I don't know. This is subjective. For me personally, I would say the loneliness of leadership. When you're breaking generational patterns, generational curses, building generational wealth, building new paths, and you're the first in your family or in your circle or what have you, in your communities, it can feel isolating, to be honest. That's why community is so important. And that is why I built spaces like, or created spaces like the Legacy Leaders Lab. That's my 30-day intensive, my group coaching program. That's why I created a space like my membership, the Legacy Lounge, for this very reason. That's why I highly recommend always to get into community and sisterhood with other women of like minds, right? It's why I created the Resuscitation room, to have conversations out loud that we're only having in private, right? So I want to normalize these discussions and have candid and courageous conversations and be truthful and transparent and discuss the things that, have these conversations that we're all craving, because we don't want to feel alone in the journey. So, and the thing is, you don't have to rise alone. Okay, you don't. Your next level, in fact, requires a new circle, not a new level of struggle. Okay, that's the answer to that. You don't need a new struggle. You need a new circle. Next question. We're doing good on time. I think we're coming up on the last one. All right. How can I connect with how can I connect with your coaching or resources? Well, I just alluded to it just a little bit ago. I can talk more about my Legacy Leaders Lab. That's what I'm heavily promoting right now, because it's I'm opening the doors. It's my private premium group coaching program, a 30-day intensive for high achieving women over 40. Okay. You can start by booking a call, because I need to make sure that we're a right fit, right? Here's the good news. A couple things. In just 30 days, you're going to be able to transform from burnout into having a more balanced life, or knowing how to integrate health and wellness, like prioritizing your peace, your health, your happiness, your healing, and finally build an aligned and profitable online brand and business without sacrificing your soul and sanity or compromising your health and happiness. Okay. In this program, you'll be with other women of like minds, and you'll be with yours truly. Okay. And it's going to be I'll break down pretty much what it will cover. But for the most part, in summary, so I don't make this video too long since we're right at about 30 minutes, we're going to be working on aligned offers, okay, building the right business models. I usually start with high ticket and premium prices, so you'll build out your signature core offer around that. Messaging, so you're attracting the right people and repelling the wrong people. Messaging is important for that. Packaging, positioning, pricing, promoting your offer, your signature core offer, and again, prioritizing your piece. So in a nutshell, that's what it's all about. You're going to be able to replace stress and overwhelm using my step-by-step game plan that actually works, okay? My frameworks you're going to learn. You're going to be able to build a business that fuels you, that fuels your health and your wealth and your freedom, not drains it, okay? We got to stop draining ourselves and working so hard, all of these things that are leading to burnout. You are going to unsubscribe from hustle culture once you do this program. You're going to be able to access my proven framework, the legacy ladder, my legacy ladder framework. Proven systems is my proprietary systems for getting you aligned results, right? And based on your core value and visions. And again, you're going to be able to commune with others, congregate, sisterhood, right? Community, supportive community, which is what we talked about shortly ago, so that you can thrive in every area of your life. Okay, so this is about gaining unstoppable clarity and confidence and scaling smarter, not harder. Okay, so I'm also available, in case you didn't know, I have two sides of my business. I said coaching and consulting. That's the coaching piece. If you are a corporate leader, if you are still working in the corporate environment, if you are an ERG chair, meaning employee resource group, you're part of that. If you're doing any kind of DEI initiatives, a wellness manager, if you're an advocate of some sort, wellness advocate, and you're looking for a powerful speaker or a workshop facilitator or a partner in transformation, helping you and your team, to boost morale, to build resilience, to keep your best talent, to recover you as a leader from burnout, you are in the right place, okay? You can book me for keynote speaking, panel discussions, corporate wellness training. I said burnout recovery workshops, executive coaching. I do VIP days for the C-suite execs, okay? Team strategy intensives, and I feel like I'm missing something. Licensing my IP, my proprietary system. So you can license my frameworks. I have three main frameworks, okay, which are my legacy ladder framework and my CPR and AED frameworks. And so, you can book that with me. You can purchase my books, okay. So anyways, we can talk about the variety of ways, but I'm naming them all. I'm going to leave the link to that as well, so you can book a discovery call with me if this sounds like something you're interested in. So for any and all other resources, well, first of all, if I did not answer any, other questions that you might have had that I didn't cover in this about 30-ish minute, talk here or Q&A session, be sure to leave your question in the comment and I will communicate with you there, okay? If you're looking for any other resources that I haven't named, it would be impossible for me to we'd be here all night, girl, okay? And as you can see in the back of me, it's getting dark. So I'm gonna pin the comment to the rest of those resources in the comment in the description box as well. You'll find everything you need there. And as we wrap this up, I want you to know, listen, you did not come this far to be sacrificed, right? To be sacrificed in a system that doesn't even see you. They don't value your voice, your gifts, your joy, and all of that matters. So if you've been struggling, if you've been crumbling inside, even though you look successful on the outside, if you've been suffering in silence, if you're looking for sisterhood and community, let today be your sign. Let this conversation be your sign. I really hope and pray that I have blessed you today with answering these questions, doing a Q&A session, because I'm so sure that, people who watch that replay of Dr. Kamani and I's live conversation. Many people who tuned in after the fact had questions that were not being able to answer. And I'm willing to bet some of these questions that came through are questions that you also have. So I really do hope this blesses you. The door to the Legacy Leaders Lab is open again. That starts with a Freedom and Focus Clarity call. So be sure to book, okay? Because one conversation can change the whole game for you. It literally can change your whole life, okay? So if you need a personalized plan specific to your needs with where you are in the journey and whatever your situation and scenario is, book the call. There's nothing else to think about, okay? Your next steps are to book the Freedom and Focus Clarity call, to watch the live stream replay between the conversation Dr. Kamani and I had with her audience and mine, and to explore the Legacy Leaders Lounge or Lab, through a conversation with me. Okay, again, I will make sure that I pinned everything below, and I thank you so much for tuning in. That's my time. I'm going to tune out while you tune in. Be sure to share this video out with at least 3 friends, and watch the next video that YouTube recommends, okay? As always, and until next time, I am wholeheartedly in this journey with you. Bye for now.